Well, finding affordable housing in South Florida has been nearly impossible for many residents lately. With wages too low to support the high cost of living, it's causing more and more people to live farther away from where they work. They have to get roommates or sometimes simply leave South Florida altogether. And with the demand for rent on the rise, the supply of available properties continues to dwindle, thanks in part to buyers from abroad. And the latest research from FIU's Metropolitan Center shows that things are simply getting worse. Take a look at some of these numbers. In Miami-Dade County alone, 61% of residents are considered cost burdened or are spending a third of their income on rent and utilities, followed closely by Monroe County with 60% of the population there feeling the strain. Then there are residents who are severely cost burdened, spending more than half of their income on housing. Again, Miami-Dade takes the lead with 34%, but Broward is not far behind with 30% of residents severely burdened by the cost of housing. Last week, affordable housing advocates and developers got together in downtown Miami to talk about and examine this crisis and to see what can be done about it. They shared potential solutions for South Florida that have shown promise in other cities in the United States. Joining me now for some perspective and to talk possible solutions are two speakers and attendees from the forum. Shekeria Brown, Executive Director of the South Florida Community Development Coalition, and Avra Jain, developer and CEO of the Vagabond Group. Ladies, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Really appreciate you being here to talk about this very important topic, which is severely affecting our community. So Shekeria, I want to talk to you. Give us kind of an overall view of what's happening here. Why is it so hard for people to kind of make ends meet and have to spend so much on their rent?
Well, thank you so much for having me. Yes, as you indicated, the numbers are showing that the magnitude of the problem is getting higher and increasing. And there are a variety of factors that lead into that. You know, one being that the supply really hasn't been keeping pace with the demand. We just saw ourselves coming out of a recession where a great number of people moved from becoming homeowners to renters. Yeah. And that's for a variety of reasons, either through foreclosure or just the fact that people are making the decision to rent now for economic mobility purposes. But either way, you have more people wanting to or renting than you have owning, and so that the demand is definitely increasing.
And then wages aren't necessarily keeping up,
yes,
right?
And that's the other thing too, is, you know, we've seen that wages have remained relatively flat. So although the cost for housing is increasing, people are still relatively taking in the same amount of resources, income as they have. And then we have individuals that are on fixed income, such as our seniors. So I think it's important to realize that this particular issue impacts a wide variety of people, from your seniors that are on fixed incomes to young professionals to, you know, everyone in between.
Yeah.
You know, our firefighters, our teachers, everyone is impacted by this, you know, what we're experiencing. You know, we have an affordable housing crisis, but we see renters are really being impacted even more so.
And there is a big demand from abroad as well, which is impacting South Florida, maybe in a way that it wouldn't impact or affect other communities in the country, right?
Correct. Here in South Florida, you know, our market is heavily impacted by foreign investment. And so, you know, once again, that takes additional units off the market for folks that are a part of the workforce and, you know, have to get to and from, you know, and they're having to make choices, you know, in terms of finding places that are closer to work. They're driving a little bit further or searching a little bit further to find quality housing. So, you know, there are rents that you can afford, but it has to be quality housing. And so people are making decisions every day as it relates to, you know, you mentioned, you know, do I have a roommate? You know, if I have this much money left over, I'm making choices between medication versus food. Yeah. So there's a lot of things that are, you know, that are factored into this.
Absolutely. Avra, as a developer, talk about perhaps what some of the solutions would be to get people into more affordable housing, and tell the story too of an employee who was taking 3 buses to get to work. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's not okay, because especially in that situation, which is probably how I sort of segue into the affordable housing space, was one of the employees at the Vagabond Hotel. I saw that she was coming late all the time, a very good employee, and I had asked, you know, well, why is your schedule so erratic? And she said, I take 3 buses to get to work. So one bus misses and you're gone. And then I also knew she was a single mom. So when you think about the 3 buses to work and the 3 buses home, who's taking the child to school, who's helping her with her homework. So it goes beyond that, and the social impacts and the ripple effect, probably even more staggering. So we went ahead, we had a multifamily property nearby, and so we started to subsidize some of the rents for our own employees just to get them, really a better quality of life. And in doing that, I knew the problem wasn't just unique to our hotel, and that this was a citywide problem. And Mr. Liu, who runs the county affordable housing, he reached out to me and asked how we could maybe solve this on a bigger scale. And so we're doing it, one bite at a time. We're trying, and hopefully through the process can make some more meaningful recommendations on how to administrate it, and so that more developers, especially young developers, can contribute.
And talk about that for a moment as well, because I know that you've been working with young budding developers, if you will, and architects at the University of Miami, really kind of like setting up the next generation of developers to say, hey, this is a real issue that needs to be tackled, right?
Yeah, and actually the students, I think, even more so than my generation, the younger generation does want to be part of social change and impact. And so I think it's a great space for young developers to come in, especially when you talk about renovating existing housing stock. So Miami has a lot of properties from the 50s and 60s that are, let's say, aged out, where instead of knocking them down and building brand new buildings, let's go in and renovate them. And that's a great opportunity for young developers to come in. 2 good things happen. One, this sort of integration into community, and 2, they get the experience. And it's something, some of the bigger developers who want to do the bigger buildings and bigger projects, is a chance for younger people to get involved.
And so, Shekeria, right now, if I'm watching this, I'm a single mom, I'm struggling to pay my rent. What, in the short term, can I do?
So that's a great question. I think really the question is, what can the community do to help, that single mother? And, we talked about some of the solutions last week as it relates to how to spur development here in South Florida. We talked a little bit in terms of, the government's role in this process, in terms of being able to invest in infrastructure, the water and sewer that unlocks the potential for more people to come in and do, the development that's necessary. We talked about making the process more expeditious, in terms of streamlining, permitting, inspections as it relates to the development. So all of these things play into being able to provide that unit, for that single mother or any other of the individuals that I mentioned that need housing. And the other thing is that, we have some proven programs here that have addressed affordable housing development, such as our state Sadowski Trust Fund, ensuring that those funds are protected and are made available, and as well as federal programs such as the low-income housing tax credit that helps developers to be able to develop. So I think the focus is increasing that demand or increasing that supply so that we can address the needs of our community.
Yep, so many people need to continue to get involved. At least we're talking about it and moving forward in a positive way. Ladies, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here with us today to talk about this very important issue. And do you have a personal story about struggling to find affordable housing, or do you have a comment about today's discussion? We'd love to hear from you. Send us your take on this or other issues that are important to you in your community. You can always reach us on Twitter and Facebook @YourSouthFL. Send us a message or video. We look forward to hearing from you.